Everyone thought the hanging man was a decoration, until the party ended. Chapter 1. The music was loud. The house was full. It was Halloween night at Blackwood Manor. Mr. Blackwood loved Halloween. He loved parties. This was his biggest party. People wore costumes. There were ghosts. There were witches. There were vampires and monsters. They laughed. They danced. They ate food. In the great hall there was a chandelier. A chandelier is a big, beautiful light. It hangs from the ceiling. Tonight, something else was hanging from the chandelier. It was a man. He was hanging by a rope. His head was down. His arms were still. A woman in a cat costume looked up. "Wow," she said to her friend. "Look at that decoration. It looks so real." Her friend, a man in a pirate costume, looked up. "Yes. Mr. Blackwood always buys the best decorations. It is very spooky." They watched the hanging man for a moment. "It is a very good decoration," the pirate said. They walked away to get a drink. The party continued. The music played. People talked. People danced. Nobody looked up much. The hanging man was just a part of the party. He was part of the spooky night. He turned very, very slowly. Hours passed. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. The music stopped. The lights turned on. The party was over. Guests started to leave. They said goodbye to each other. "Good party. Happy Halloween. Where is Mr. Blackwood? I want to say thank you. I did not see him all night. Maybe he is in his office." Soon, the house was empty. Only the housekeeper, Mrs. Eve, was there. She was an older woman. She started to clean. She picked up cups. She picked up plates. She looked at the great hall. It was a big mess. She sighed. She looked up at the chandelier. "Mr. Blackwood, you must stop buying these things." She looked at the hanging man. A terrible decoration. So real. "It is time to take it down." Mrs. Eve went to the closet. She got a tall ladder. She pushed the ladder to the center of the hall. She climbed the ladder. She was careful. She got close to the hanging man. "This is a heavy decoration," she said to herself. She reached out. She touched the man's shoe. The shoe was real leather. It was expensive. "This is not plastic," she whispered. Her hand was shaking. She climbed one more step. She touched the man's coat. It was a real coat. She pushed the man's arm. It was cold. And it was stiff. Mrs. Eve looked at the face. It was not a mask. It was a real face. It was Mr. Blackwood. Mrs. Eve screamed. It was a loud scream. It filled the big, empty house. 10 minutes later, there were new lights. Red and blue lights. A police car was outside Blackwood Manor. A man stepped out of the car. He wore a long coat. He was not in a costume. His name was Detective Sherlock. He was tall. He had sharp eyes. He looked at the big house. "A party," he said. His voice was quiet. Mrs. Eve met him at the door. She was crying. "In the hall, Detective. In the great hall. Please. It is terrible." Sherlock walked past her. He entered the great hall. He saw the mess from the party. Cups, paper, food. He looked up. He saw Mr. Blackwood, hanging from the chandelier. Sherlock looked at the body for a long time. He did not speak. He looked at the rope. He looked at the high ceiling. The party ended, Sherlock said. He spoke to himself. Everyone thought he was a decoration. He looked at Mrs. Eve. Who cut him down? No one, sir, she cried. I found him. I touched him. He is real. Sherlock nodded. Call the police station. Tell them I need a full team, and tell them to find every guest from this party. The party is over. The investigation has begun. Sherlock walked under the body. He looked up at the pale face of Mr. Blackwood. Happy Halloween, Mr. Blackwood, the detective whispered. Who did this to you? He saw the red and blue lights flashing on the victim's face. The house was very, very quiet. The music was gone. Only the sound of Mrs. Eve crying in the kitchen, and the sound of the police radios outside. The detective stood perfectly still. He was waiting. He was thinking. The mystery was here, in the great hall, hanging from the ceiling. He needed to find the truth. The guests were gone, but they would come back. They had to come back. Sherlock put his hands in his coat pockets. A man is dead, he thought, but 200 people saw him. They saw him for hours, and they did nothing. They thought he was a decoration. This was a very smart killer, or a very lucky killer. Sherlock would find out. The night was just starting. Chapter 2. The police team arrived. They were quiet. They were professionals. They took many pictures. Pictures of the hall. Pictures of the cups. Pictures of the chandelier. And many pictures of Mr. Blackwood. 2 officers brought the tall ladder. They climbed carefully. They cut the rope. They lowered the body of Mr. Blackwood very slowly. They put the body on a white sheet on the floor. Detective Sherlock watched everything. His eyes missed nothing. He knelt beside the body. Mr. Blackwood was about 50 years old. He was rich. This house was his. He was wearing expensive clothes, a black suit, nice shoes. He was not wearing a costume. Interesting, Sherlock whispered. He hosts a Halloween party, but he is not wearing a costume. He looked at the man's face. The face was pale. The eyes were closed. Around the neck, there was a red mark from the rope. This rope, Sherlock said. He touched the rope. It was thick. It was new. This is not an old rope from the house, he said. This rope was brought here. He looked at the man's hands. The hands were clean. There was no dirt. There were no cuts. He did not fight, Sherlock said, and he did not tie the rope himself. His hands are too clean. This was murder. It was not suicide. Sherlock stood up. He looked at the chandelier. It was very high. How? He said to Mrs. Eve. The housekeeper was standing near the door. She was not crying now. She was just watching. How did the killer get him up there, Mrs. Eve? I do not know, sir, she said. The ceiling is 20 feet high. Did many people see him? Everyone, sir. Everyone saw the decoration. They thought it was so clever, so real. They thought it was real, Sherlock said. Because it was real, Sherlock walked around the great hall. The floor was wood. It was shiny. He saw footprints. Many footprints from the party. He saw confetti. Small pieces of colored paper. He saw a plastic vampire tooth on the floor. He picked it up. He put it in a small plastic bag. "We must talk to the guests," Sherlock said. "But sir, Mrs., Eve said. "They are all gone. They went home." "We have the guest list," Sherlock said. "My officers are calling them now. I want to speak to 3 people, the most important people." "Who, sir?" "Mr. Blackwood's business partner, Mr. Graves. Was he here?" "Yes, sir. He was wearing a vampire costume." "Good," Sherlock said. "And Mr. Blackwood's girlfriend, Miss Violet. Was she here?" "Yes, sir. She was a witch. A beautiful costume." "And one more," Sherlock said. "Mr. Blackwood's brother, Mr. Silas. Was he here?" Mrs. Eve nodded. "Yes. Mr. Silas was here. He was wearing a ghost costume. A simple white sheet. Vampire, witch, ghost," Sherlock said. "A perfect Halloween group." "They are at the police station now," said a young officer. He just entered the room. "They are waiting for you, detective." "Good," Sherlock said. He turned to leave the hall. He looked back one more time at the chandelier. The rope was still hanging. It was cut. It moved a little in the air. "Someone wanted Mr. Blackwood to be the star of the show," Sherlock said. He walked out of the hall. He went to the police station. The station was quiet. It was almost 4 a.m. The 3 guests were in 3 different rooms. They were not wearing their costumes now. They were wearing their normal clothes. They looked tired, and they looked scared. Sherlock looked through the glass window of the first room. Mr. Graves, the vampire. He was drinking coffee. He looked angry. Sherlock looked at the second room. Miss Violet, the witch. She was crying. Sherlock looked at the third room. Mr. Silas, the ghost. He was just sitting. He was staring at the wall. He looked calm. Too calm. Sherlock opened his notebook. "Let's talk," he said. He walked toward the first room. He would start with the vampire. He needed to know about the business. He needed to know about the money. Money was always a reason. A good reason for murder. He took a deep breath. The night was long. The mystery was deep. But Sherlock was patient. He would find the killer, one question at a time. The investigation was moving. The sun would be up soon, but the darkness was still in the house, and in the hearts of these guests. Sherlock opened the door. "Mr. Graves," he said, "let's talk about the party." Chapter 3. Detective Sherlock sat down in the small room. The room was gray. There was a table. 2 chairs. Mr. Graves, the business partner, looked at Sherlock. His eyes were red. He was tired. "This is terrible, Detective," Graves said. "I cannot believe it. Mr. Blackwood, dead." "You were at the party, Mr. Graves," Sherlock said. His voice was calm and steady. "You wore a vampire costume." "Yes. It was a party. I talked to people. I did business." "Did you see the decoration? The man hanging from the chandelier?" Graves nodded. "Yes. I saw it when I arrived. I thought it was in bad taste. But Blackwood loved big spooky things." "You thought it was a decoration?" Sherlock said. "You did not think it was real?" "No, of course not. Who would think that? It was a party." "When did you last see Mr. Blackwood alive?" Mr. Graves thought for a moment. Around 9 p.m., he was in his office. He looked worried. Worried? About what? The business, Detective. Our business is not good. We are losing money. I wanted to sell the company. Blackwood said no. He never wanted to sell. So you argued? Sherlock asked. We talked. It was a strong talk. He was stubborn, Graves said. He looked down at his hands. But I did not kill him. I was in the library most of the night. After our talk, I was making calls. If Mr. Blackwood is dead, Sherlock said, you are now in control of the company. You can sell it. Mr. Graves looked up. His eyes were cold. Yes, Detective, I can, and I will. Sherlock wrote in his notebook. A motive. Money. Sherlock left the room. He went to the next room. Miss Violet, the girlfriend. She was young, maybe 25. She was beautiful. Even with her red eyes from crying, she wore a black dress. Miss Violet, Sherlock said gently, I am sorry. He is gone, she cried. He is really gone. I looked for him. I wanted to dance with him, but I could not find him. When did you last see him? This afternoon, before the party. He was cold. He was distant. Why? Sherlock asked. She stopped crying. She looked at Sherlock. He was ending our relationship. He told me he met someone else. He said I had to leave the house. He was ending it, Sherlock said. Yes, tonight. After the party. He said it was over. Were you angry? I was hurt, she said. I loved him. Or, I loved the life. This big house, the money. Now I have nothing. You were at the party all night? Yes, I was dancing. I was talking to friends. I saw the thing hanging. I thought it was horrible. I did not look at it. I stayed in the music room. I did not want to see it. Sherlock wrote in his notebook. A second motive. Revenge. Sherlock went to the last room. Mr. Silas, the brother. He was older than Blackwood. He was thin. He wore simple, old clothes. His face was gray. He was still staring at the wall. Mr. Silas, Sherlock said. Silas looked at him slowly. My brother. He is dead. Yes. I am sorry. He always loved stupid jokes, Silas said. His voice was flat. No sadness. No anger. Just empty. This is his last stupid joke. It was not a joke, Mr. Silas. It was murder. Silas nodded. Yes. Murder. Good. Sherlock paused. Good? He was a bad man, Detective. He took everything. He took the family money. He took the house. He left me with nothing. Nothing. I lived in a small apartment. He lived in that palace. You hated your brother? Sherlock said. Yes, Silas said. I hated him. When did you last see him? I did not see him tonight. I came to the party. I got a drink. I saw the decoration. I thought, typical. My brother loves to show off. It looked like him. The same size. The same suit. You thought the decoration looked like your brother? Yes. I thought he made a decoration of himself, to be the center of attention, as always. Where were you during the party? I was in the garden. It was cold. I liked the cold. I did not want to talk to his rich friends. Sherlock looked at Silas. You were wearing a ghost costume? Yes, a white sheet. Easy. Cheap. Sherlock wrote in his notebook. A third motive. Hate. Sherlock closed his notebook. He had 3 suspects. The partner, the girlfriend, the brother, the vampire, the witch, the ghost. All 3 had a reason to kill Mr. Blackwood. The vampire, Graves, wanted money from the business. The witch, Violet, wanted revenge for a broken heart. The ghost, Silas, wanted revenge for a broken life. Sherlock walked out of the police station. The sun was rising. The sky was pink and gray. He was tired, but his mind was working. One of them was lying. Or maybe all of them were lying. He needed a clue. A real clue. He needed to go back to the house. The house had the answer. The house always has the answer. He got in his car. He drove back to Blackwood Manor. The house was quiet in the morning light. It did not look spooky now. It just looked sad. He went inside. He went to the great hall. The body was gone. Only the cut rope. Hanging. Waiting. How? Sherlock whispered. How did the killer do it? He looked up at the high ceiling. You are too high, he said to the chandelier. How did he get up there? He needed to find the answer. He needed to find the clue. The clue was here. He just had to see it. He started to search the house, room by room. He was looking for something. He did not know what, but he would know it when he saw it. Chapter 4. Detective Sherlock started his search in the Great Hall. He looked at the floor again. The police team had cleaned. But Sherlock looked closer. He saw the marks from the ladder. The ladder Mrs. Eve used. He looked at the chandelier. It was heavy. It was made of metal and glass. A man's body is heavy, Sherlock thought. Mr. Blackwood was a big man. Maybe 200 pounds. It was impossible for one person to climb a ladder and pull up a 200-pound body. The killer did not pull the body up, Sherlock said. The body was pulled up with the chandelier. He looked for a machine, a motor. He followed the chain of the chandelier. The chain went up into the ceiling. There must be a switch, he said. A motor to lower the chandelier. For cleaning. He started checking the walls. He looked behind paintings. He looked inside closets. He spent an hour searching the Great Hall. Nothing. No switch. No button. He went to the library. This is where Mr. Graves, the vampire, said he was. The library was dark. Tall shelves full of books. A large desk. A telephone. Sherlock looked at the telephone. He checked the call history. Mr. Graves was telling the truth. He made calls. Business calls. He called his lawyer. He called his bank. The calls were made between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. This was a good alibi. It was hard to make calls and hang a body. But maybe he had help. Sherlock went to the music room. This is where Miss Violet, the witch, said she was. There was a piano. There were chairs. Many empty glasses. It was a big room. People were here. It was easy to hide in a crowd. Sherlock looked around. He saw something on the floor, near the piano. It was a small black feather. He picked it up. He put it in a bag. A feather, he thought. From a costume? He did not remember a bird costume. He went to the garden. This is where Mr. Silas, the ghost, said he was. He opened the glass doors. The morning air was cold. He stepped outside. The garden was wet with morning dew. He saw footprints in the soft mud near a rose bush. The footprints were from large boots. Silas was here, Sherlock said. He followed the footprints. They went from the garden door to a small shed. A shed is a small house for tools. The door of the shed was open. Sherlock looked inside. Garden tools, rakes, shovels, and in the corner, a large, new roll of rope. Sherlock's eyes opened wide. He touched the rope. It was the same thick, new rope, the same rope used to hang Mr. Blackwood. He looked at the mud on the floor of the shed. There were the same boot prints. Silas came here, Sherlock whispered. He got the rope. And this was the clue, the big clue. Silas lied. He said he was in the garden. He did not say he was in the shed. He did not say he got the rope. Sherlock felt a buzz, the thrill of the answer. But wait. He looked at the mud again. He knelt. He saw something else in the mud, something small and black. It was another black feather, the same as the feather in the music room. What is this? Sherlock thought. Silas wore a white sheet, a ghost. No feathers. Miss Violet was a witch. Her dress was black. Did it have feathers? Sherlock stood up. He looked from the shed. He could see the great hall window. He could see the chandelier. Silas got the rope, Sherlock said. But did he use it? Maybe someone else took the rope from him. Or maybe two people were working together. The ghost? And the witch? Sherlock went back inside the house. He was thinking. Silas gets the rope. But how does the body get up to the chandelier? He went back to the great hall. He was angry at the wall. Where is the switch? Mrs. Eve entered the room. She had a cup of tea for the detective. Thank you, Mrs. Eve, he said. You are looking for something, sir? Yes, the switch for the chandelier, to lower it. Mrs. Eve looked surprised. Oh, that's not in here. Sherlock stopped. Where is it? It is in Mr. Blackwood's office. He was very private. He did not want guests touching it. It is hidden. Show me, Sherlock said. They went to the office. It was a small, dark room. Mrs. Eve walked to a bookshelf. She pulled a large red book. The bookshelf moved. It opened like a door. Behind the bookshelf was a small, secret room. Inside the room was a simple metal box on the wall, a keyhole, and a button. Mr. Blackwood kept the key, Mrs. Eve said. Where is the key now? Sherlock asked. In his pocket, sir. I think. Sherlock nodded. The police took the victim's items. The key would be there. Only Mr. Blackwood knew about this room? Oh no, Mrs. Eve said. The family knew. Mr. Silas knows about this room. They played here as children. Sherlock's heart beat faster. "Mr. Silas knows," he said. "Yes, him. And I think Mr. Blackwood showed his girlfriend, Miss Violet. I saw them in here once, laughing." Sherlock looked at the small, secret room. Silas knew. Violet knew. Graves, the business partner, did not know. The puzzle was getting clearer. The rope was from the shed. The switch was in the secret room. The killer needed the rope and the switch. Silas was in the garden, near the shed. Violet was in the music room. But the feather, the black feather, was in the music room and the shed. Sherlock looked at Mrs. Eve. "Miss Violet's costume," he said. "The witch costume. Did it have feathers?" Mrs. Eve thought. "Yes, sir, it did. Around the neck, a collar of black feathers. Very beautiful." Sherlock nodded. He knew. He knew who did it. He knew how they did it. Now he just had to prove it. The puzzle was almost finished. One last piece. Why did they do it together? Chapter 5. Detective Sherlock stood in the secret room. He looked at the switch. He had the rope, Silas. He had the feathers, Violet. He had the secret switch, Silas and Violet. They worked together, Sherlock said to himself. The brother and the girlfriend, the ghost and the witch. But why? Silas hated his brother. That was a strong motive. Violet was losing her money. That was a strong motive. Did they meet? Did they plan this? Sherlock left the office. He went to the kitchen. Mrs. Eve was washing cups. "Mrs. Eve," Sherlock said. "Mr. Silas and Miss Violet, were they friends?" Mrs. Eve stopped washing. She turned around. "Friends? No, sir. I do not think so." Did they talk? Mr. Blackwood did not want his brother near Miss Violet. He was a protective. He thought Mr. Silas was a bad influence. But did they talk? Secretly? Mrs. Eve paused. "Yes, sir. I saw them. Last week. In the garden. They were arguing. They were whispering. I thought it was strange." Arguing? Yes. They looked angry. Both of them. "Thank you, Mrs. Eve. You have been a great help." Sherlock went to his car. He had to think. His theory. Silas and Violet were not friends. They were partners. Violet knew Blackwood was ending the relationship. She was angry. Silas hated his brother. He was angry. Two angry people. They made a plan. A Halloween plan. When did they kill him? Not during the party. 200 guests were here. They killed him before the party. Maybe in the afternoon. When the house was quiet, Blackwood was in his office. He was preparing for the party. How did they get him to the Great Hall? Maybe Violet said, "My love, come see the hall. It is beautiful." Blackwood goes to the hall. Silas is waiting. They attack him. But Blackwood's hands were clean. He did not fight. So, he was not attacked. He was tricked. Sherlock started his car. He drove back to the police station. He had an idea, a new idea. He went to the evidence room. He looked at the victim's clothes. The black suit. He looked at the rope. Then he went to the coroner's office. The coroner is the doctor for dead people. "Tell me about the body," Sherlock said. The coroner, Dr. Miles, was an old man. He died from the rope. Doctor, Miles said. Broken neck. It was fast. When did he die? That is the hard part. The body is cold. But the house was full of people. It's hard to say. Maybe 8 p.m.? Maybe 9 p.m. Before the party guests arrived, Sherlock said. Yes, very likely. He was dead before the first guest arrived at 9 p.m. One more thing, Doctor. Did you find any medicine in his blood? Doctor, Miles looked at his report. Yes, he said. A high level of a sleeping drug. Enough to make him very, very sleepy. He would not be able to fight. He was drugged, Sherlock said. Yes, probably in his drink. A cup of tea, a glass of wine. Sherlock smiled. The puzzle was complete. This is what happened. Violet, the girlfriend, had dinner with Blackwood before the party. Around 7 p.m., she put the sleeping drug in his wine. Blackwood becomes sleepy. He thinks he is just tired. He goes to his office to rest. He falls asleep. Violet calls Silas. He is asleep. Now, Silas goes to the shed. He gets the rope. He drops a boot print. Violet goes to the music room. She waits. She drops a feather. Silas goes to the office. Blackwood is asleep. He is heavy. Silas cannot carry him. Wait. The office is on the second floor. The great hall is on the first floor. How? Sherlock stopped. No. The office is on the first floor, near the kitchen. Yes. So, Silas gets a wheelchair. Or just pulls him. No. Too difficult. Sherlock thought again. Violet puts the drug in his drink. Blackwood is in the great hall. He is looking at the decorations. He feels sleepy. He sits down. He falls asleep in a chair in the great hall. Yes. That is better. He is asleep. Silas and Violet are there. Violet goes to the secret room. She has the key. She stole it from Blackwood's pocket while he was sleeping. She lowers the chandelier. Silas comes with the rope. He ties the rope around Blackwood's neck. He ties the other end to the chandelier. Violet pushes the button. The chandelier goes up. It pulls Mr. Blackwood from the chair. His neck breaks. It is fast. He is asleep. He feels nothing. He is dead. He is hanging. Silas and Violet leave. They go and change into their costumes. The party starts at 9 p.m. The guests arrive. They see the body. They think it is a decoration. The plan is perfect. A murder in front of 200 people. And nobody sees it. Sherlock walked out of the coroner's office. He had the story. He had the motives. He had the clues. The rope. The feathers. The secret switch. The sleeping drug. He had everything. Now, he needed the confession. He needed to break them. The ghost and the witch. He went to the interview rooms. He would talk to them again. But this time, he would not ask questions. He would tell them the truth. He would tell them their own story, and he would watch them break. He went to Violet's room first, the pretty witch. She was not crying now. She was just waiting. She looked up when Sherlock entered. "Detective," she said. "The party is over, Miss Violet," Sherlock said. His voice was cold. "Your costume was beautiful, but you dropped a feather. In the shed, where your partner got the rope." Violet's face turned white. Whiter than a ghost. Chapter 6. Miss Violet stared at Detective Sherlock. Her body was shaking. I don't know what you are talking about," she whispered. "You dropped a black feather in the music room," Sherlock said. He sat down. "And you dropped a black feather in the garden shed, where Mr. Silas got the rope." "Silas?" I don't talk to Silas. His brother hated him." "You talked to him. Mrs. Eve saw you, in the garden, last week. You were arguing." Violet's hands were tight. She was holding them together. "We were not arguing," she said. "We were planning." Sherlock waited. He said nothing. Blackwood was a monster," Violet said. Her voice was low and angry. "He was leaving me. He was throwing me out. After 2 years. He said I was old. He found a younger girl. So you decided to kill him," Sherlock said. "No, it was Silas. It was his idea," she said. She was crying now. "Silas hated him. He said his brother deserved to die. He said he had a plan, a perfect plan, a Halloween joke." "And you helped?" Sherlock said. "He needed my help. He needed me to get the key to the secret room, the key for the chandelier." "And you needed him?" Sherlock said. "You could not kill Blackwood alone." "I gave him the sleeping drug," she whispered. "In his wine. At 7 p.m. Before the party. We were in the great hall. He said he was tired. He sat in the big red chair. He fell asleep. And then I took the key from his pocket. I went to the office. I opened the secret room. Silas was waiting. He had the rope. He came from the garden. He was wearing gloves. He tied the rope," Sherlock said. "Yes. He tied it around Blackwood's neck. Then he tied it to the chandelier. The chandelier was low. I lowered it for him. And then, Miss Violet, Silas. He told me to push the button, to raise it." "And you did?" Violet looked at her hands. "Yes. I pushed the button. The chandelier went up. And he went up with it. It was fast. He did not make a sound. He was asleep." "He was hanging," Sherlock said. "Yes, Silas Lauched," he said. "He is the star of the party now." He said, "Happy Halloween, brother." "And you?" Sherlock asked. "Did you laugh?" "I was sick," she said. "I ran to the music room. I was afraid. But Silas, he was calm. He went to the garden. He put on his ghost costume. I put on my witch costume. The guests started to arrive. And everyone thought he was a decoration." "Yes," she cried. "It worked. The plan worked. Everyone was dancing. And he was hanging all night." Sherlock stood up. He had the full confession. "Miss Violet, you are under arrest for the murder of Mr. Blackwood." The young officer came in. He took her arm. Violet did not fight. She just cried. "It was Silas," she said again and again. It was his idea. Sherlock walked out of the room. He felt tired. He went to the next room. Mr. Silas. The ghost. He was sitting in the same chair. He was still staring at the wall. Sherlock entered. Silas did not look up. She confessed, Sherlock said. Silas did not move. Violet told me everything. The plan, the drug, the rope, the secret switch. She said it was your idea. Silas was quiet for a long time. Then he slowly smiled. It was not a nice smile. My idea, he said. His voice was soft. Yes, it was my idea. A good idea, yes? You killed your brother, Sherlock said. I gave my brother a gift, Silas said. He always wanted to be the center of attention. I made him the center of attention. His last party, his best decoration. You got the rope from the shed, Sherlock said. Yes, I did. I put mud on my shoes. Stupid. And Violet helped you. She drugged him. The little witch, Silas said. She was easy to control. She was afraid of being poor. I told her I would share the family money. When Blackwood was dead, the money would be mine. But you were seen arguing, Sherlock said. Silas laughed. Arguing? No. We were practicing. We were making the plan perfect. Every step. And you felt nothing? When he died? Silas finally looked at Sherlock. His eyes were dark. I felt happy, Silas said. I felt peace. For 30 years, he was above me. He was the rich one, the smart one, the lucky one. At the party, I was below him. I was a ghost, and he was hanging. He was finally quiet. Mr. Silas, you are under arrest for the murder of your brother. Silas stood up. He was tall, like his brother. He put his hands out for the handcuffs. It was a good joke, Silas said. It was not a joke, Sherlock said. It was murder. Murder. Joke. Sometimes, detective, they are the same thing. The officers took him away. The ghost and the witch. They were going to jail. Sherlock walked out of the police station. The sun was high now. It was a new day. Halloween was over. The manor was empty. The mystery was solved. Detective Sherlock got in his car. He was very tired. He drove home. He wanted to sleep. He wanted to forget the hanging man. But he knew he would not forget. He would see him in his dreams, hanging from the chandelier. The decoration that was too real. The party was over. Finally, the case was closed.